Hi everybody, this is Ann Brew. Welcome to Brew's Views. Today I'm going to be doing a demonstration of a rough turnaround animated in Photoshop. And before I get started, I'd like to give a shout out to my friend and colleague, Sam Ellis of Robot Cowboy Samurai. Be sure to visit his site because he's done a turnaround animated in Flash. They're both Adobe products. Both demos are super informative and fun. So be sure to check him out at Robot Cowboy Samurai, and let's get started with the demonstration.
It's Sam and Ann.
Sam and Ann. Hey Sam, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm good.
Did you say you wanted to learn how to do a turnaround in Photoshop? And some people don't realize that Photoshop has an animation option, and if you open up your window and you go down to timeline and click on it, you get this great window that allows you to do both frame and video timeline animation, which is really fun. I'm going to choose create frame animation. I'm just going to click on it here.
Yeah, so basically the timeline, the number one there is taking like a snapshot of whatever layers you have visible.
Exactly. And I have my size of my canvas set to 1920 by 1080. I think I'm saying
the standard aspect ratio for television and film.
That's right. I'm going to make a new frame and a new layer, and I'm going to call it frame 2. So I'm just going to make a simple character here, rough and dirty, because you always kind of start off with
forms
and your spheres, and you want to make sure that you're using the proportions of your character. My character happens to be 3 heads high, so I'm going to just make 3 circles here to represent 3 heads.
So the character's 3 heads tall.
Yeah.
Got that here. All right, cool. All right.
And I want to do a front view. So, well, let's see. You started with a 3/4 view, didn't you?
Yeah, I usually start with 3/4, but there is no right or wrong way to do it. I like to start there because I feel like I'm gaming the system. I'm not. I start with the 3/4 because that's the view that I'm going to draw most often. So I usually want to peg down the look.
Ah, okay. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Just going to do a really rough character here. Any questions so far?
Nope. I'm I'm watching. I know it's for everyone watching at home. I'm horrible at this. I'm horrible at asking questions.
Really? Are you? I'm dashed.
I know. Well, I just like watching people draw, and I go, oh yeah.
All right. So now that I've got this 3/4 view set up here, okay. Get her arms going and her neck going. Patty is a cute little character here. Whoops. Now, what I just did was I did a Control Z. That just helps me to take care of my mistakes.
I'm gonna say, if you wanted to, could you move the head forward if you weren't happy with the position? Like,
yes, I could. So all I have to do is grab my lasso tool, and it's this this funny little tool right over here. And I can just grab that. I have to make sure I'm on the layer that I'm working with and hit the letter V, which is my move tool, and I can move her head forward a little bit or back. There we go. Is that better?
we're just roughing this in. We can always do a clean version of this, like with a new layer, right?
Yes, thank goodness. So I put a smaller circle over here, which is overlapped by the torso, just to make sure that both my shoulders are defined. What I want to do is I'm going to make a third frame. I'm going to call it frame 3. Whoops. Let's try to spell things correctly.
Theme 3 is...
Yeah. Frame 3. Ah. And frame 3 on my timeline. So I can duplicate or copy and paste frame 2 into frame 3 and flip it. And I can go to Edit, Transform, and I can flip horizontal. Okay.
Before you trace it, can I show you a trick of, can I show you another way to flip it?
Sure.
Can you duplicate frame 2 again?
Yep.
And just turn the other 2 off for a second. I just want to show you another way to do the same thing. So if we duplicate this layer by dragging it down to the Create New Frame and just drop it over the square, down at the bottom, click and drag down.
Click this and drag it to here.
There, and it'll duplicate it.
Okay.
And then hit V for select.
Yep.
Up at the top it says Show Transform Controls.
Yeah.
If you click on that box, it'll give you the little bounding box.
Sure.
And if you click on any of those little select points on the bounding box. All right, and now if you look, as soon as you click on it up at the top, you have width, height, angle. If you put negative on the width, just click at the front and just put a negative.
Okay.
Yep. It'll just flip it.
Ah, nice.
Another way to do the same thing.
And that is the beauty of working digitally, is that there's always a different way to do stuff, which is really great. Okay, so I'm going to reduce the opacity, and then I'm just going to trace her in frame 3. Now here I'm just adding a little extra overlap line here to show that I'm looking at the back. So I have got my 3/4 view here. Okay. And my 3/4 view here. Whoops. Okay. Make sense? Okay. And I can throw this away because I have it on frame 3. Okay. What did you do, Sam? Did you draw your side view next or your front view?
Yeah, I started with the 3/4 and then I did a 3/4 back from the same side rather than like flipping their and I just did the profile for in between them.
Alrighty.
I mean, are you going to do the full, have the person spin in place, or do you just want to be able to scroll back and forth?
No, I want him to spin in place.
Oh, okay.
Or her.
If you want it to spin in place, you're going to have a front 3/4 left and a front 3/4 right. But you also have a back 3/4 left and a back 3/4 right. Okay, so in profile and profile left and profile right?
All right.
Yeah.
So I'll do the profile left, just like you did. So when you're drawing a profile, real important to know that nothing changes sizes.
Yeah.
Okay. And I want to turn this front view on so I know where her eye goes. And her nose is going to go on that same line. And her mouth. There we go. So now I can turn that off and I have a nice profile. The profiles never look as pretty to me as everything else.
No, the only profiles I seem to like is Batman.
Yeah, so what's up with that?
Profile, but outside of that, I'm never really super happy with profile shots.
Okay. Actually, that doesn't look right, Sam.
Can you skew it?
Yeah. So to skew, you go to transform, skew.
Really quick, so you moved a little dot. What is that little dot that you moved?
This little dot is my anchor tool. And so for example, I want to rotate an arm or a leg. I'll move the anchor tool to the articulation point, or the place where that object pivots. And then, well, if I'm in the skew tool, so let me go to the rotate, and it rotates. See that? Isn't that cute?
Yep.
Love it. All right. You can see that this line, the eye stays on the same line, the mouth stays on the same line, and the nose stays on the same line. So what this method does is it just completely reduces the, all the lines that you need to draw to keep everything lined up otherwise. We've got a 3/4 front, 3/4 back, and 3/4 and a side view. Okay.
Now, if the viewers at home have questions, can they leave your comments in the comment section below?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I hope they do. And her little pigtails. I think I'm doing a bad job tracing that. Okay. Neck. And I usually keep the neck on an angle. I rarely draw a neck straight up and down. What's your style, Sam?
It varies.
What makes it vary?
Sometimes my characters don't have necks. It just depends on the character. I know it sounds cheesy, but yeah, I mean, sometimes if it's a more realistic person, the neck's usually at an angle. Sometimes it's straight up and down, but it's usually situated in the back of the head, as if it's sitting on the spine. So much like you had in your 3/4 view. So the head, I don't know, kind of sticks out from the neck. But I definitely think that the diagonal necks are more interesting looking than just kind of the Lego neck. That's what I call it. The just a straight cylinder coming up out of the shoulders to slightly cross the eyes. Ever so slightly helps focus their gaze.
Do I want to move this front view over so that it matches right here, or keep it the way it is?
Yeah, I like to line them up a little bit more so that as they turn sideways, it's almost like they radiate out from the center a bit.
That looks pretty good. Okay, lower the opacity and trace away. Oh wait, let me try your new technique here. Okay, duplicate, and then go to my move tool and click on my show transform controls, and
touch one of those bounding box points,
and it gives you all of this. And then under width, you're just going to click on that and put a minus next to it, and voila, that is awesome.
You need to have duplicate profiles and duplicate 3/4 views, because you'll need one facing the left and one facing the right.
Right here, I really need a front view, don't I?
From this to front?
Yep. Then I'm going to have my frame 3. It's going to be my 3/4 front. Let me put front on there so that we always know where we are.
And also it's looking to the left. So I put an L at the end.
My 3/4 is looking to the left. Okay, so I also need to flip that, don't I?
Yeah, that way you have a right version.
Okay.
And then you can just put that on the other side of the other front.
Yep, and I'm going to duplicate this.
Okay. You have one on the right, one on the left.
Yep. Apply.
And now I put I put that down on the other side of front. Your profile will sit between both sets of 3/4.
To here,
mm-hmm.
To here,
mm-hmm.
To here,
mm-hmm.
To here,
mm-hmm.
And now I need 3/4 back left.
Yes.
And this is going to be 3/4 back right.
You need 2 profiles. There should be two of everything, except for front and back. One of the things that we do occasionally in animation is, instead of right and left, I like to use right and left because I'm used to it. But they'll put 1 and 2 because sometimes you get animators that go, wait, is it my left or their left?
Oh.
And then they go, well, is it their left or our left when they're looking from them or when we're looking at, and they keep, I don't know. So they just go 1 and 2, and 1 starts from the left and 2 is on the right. But to me, it's the same thing. I'm like,
and this is looking really fun.
Don't forget, you need to flip that last profile when you get to the top. It's all right.
And right?
Always this is one part of the process that people forget, which is it takes time to name your layers, and you want to always have time to make sure that it's all organized. So that whoever else is looking at it will be able to follow along.
And so now,
4 L's and 4 R's.
This little guy's got to go left.
Yep, correct.
Now we have them all drawn, and we need to get our timeline hooked up with our layers. So you can see we've got a few more layers than we started off with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we can have an image in the background. So I'm going to click the very, very first layer on and put that on layer 1 with the background. The background is always going to stay on. So I'm going to turn that off and turn that on so that appears in the 2nd frame. Then I go to the 3rd frame, turn that on. I go to the 4th frame, turn that on. So now, what do you think I have to do? I've got to make a new frame here.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll play it 3 times just to see how it works. Now, for those of you who are new to the timeline, you just come right down here, and where it usually is set to a default once, and you just click on that and you can play it forever if you think it's your Oscar-winning animation, or 3 times if you're just trying to test it there. And then you have your play, your reverse, forward, and where did stop go? Oh, this turns into a square when you want to stop. Okay. Okay, you click on this little downward arrow and you can choose 1/10 of a second, 2/10 of a second, 1/2 a second, 1 second, 2 seconds, 5 seconds, or 10. And you also have other. So you can change the timing exactly the way you want.
How long was your first frame held for?
My first frame is, thank you. 2.
All right.
All right, so let's play and see how that looks. And that just slows it down a little bit. I think she's shifting a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can go back in and slide them back and forth.
Yep. So where does she start shifting? I think it's here. And away we go. Yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
Ta-da! Well, that's it, everybody. Thank you for joining Brew's Views and Robot Cowboy Samurai, Ann Brew and Sam Ellis for part 1 of Character Turn in Photoshop. Join us next time for part 2 when we clean up the turnarounds. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe. If you have questions, post them and let us know. We definitely want to get a dialogue going with you. Let us know what other tutorials you would like to see, and we'll be happy to accommodate you. That's it for now, so get out there and draw. Bye.